Chris here from swappart.com, and I'm about to do a backlight repair on a 65-inch Samsung LED TV. And before I get started, I just want to mention that it's really important to clean your area good first. Okay, and the reason I say that is because when you open the TV up, there are plastic sheets under the screen, and what you don't want to happen is to have those become dust magnets, and believe me, they will. Okay, you're going to take them out, you're going to set them down on the floor, and they're going to just be covered in dust. And the first time that you have to take a screen out a second time to clean that dust out, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And believe me, I've done it before. So what I've done is first I vacuumed, and then I ran a wet Swiffer around to just try to get up any dust that the vacuum might have missed. And next what I'm about to do is I'm about to put down this canvas tarp. And the reason I chose canvas was because plastic is obviously a dust magnet, so I figured canvas was a better choice. It was like $15 at Harbor Freight Tools, so hopefully it'll make my job a lot easier. And I'm about to lay that down, and then after I get that set up, I'll be back and we'll start on the repair. So I don't have the greatest camera setup, so I don't know how much you're going to be able to see of this. I'll try to get it as good as I can though, and we'll go from there. Okay, so you can't really see me, but you can see the TV, and I think that's what you need to see. So we're going to start by disconnecting all the wires. Okay, so now the wires are disconnected. We're going to pull the screws out, and I like to use these yogurt cups. They're convenient to put screws in. Okay, so that is that. Alright. So that's the main board. And then we're going to take all the screws around the outside, and we're going to pull this plastic piece off. And we'll put those in a second yogurt cup. For the ones that didn't come out, I got one of these magnet pickup tools. I found it on eBay. You could probably find one at Harbor Freight too. And it works. You can see that, but yeah, it works. And I like to pull these wall mount brackets off too, just because when I lay it on its back, I want it to be flat. And makes it a lot easier. Less risk of damage this way. Okay, so just okay, so that part's off. So now we're going to take the T-con cover right here off. See what I'm doing? Okay, and we're going to pull the speakers off and just lift right off. Just remember it was yellow on that side and the green and black on this side, so I don't think they would fit any other way. Okay, so we are ready to flip it. So now the way I want to flip this is kind of important. I want this side to be that way. And the reason that I want that is because when I lift it off, I'm going to back up as far as I can and set it down. And I just don't want the driver boards on the side where I'm still going to be working, just for, you know, precaution, just to reduce the risk of damaging them. Okay, wires coming off. Okay. Ooh, lots of dust. Alright, so another good idea is after you take the back off to run a vacuum, but I can't do that here because it's now 12 o'clock and I got neighbors. So I'm just gonna set her down. No, that is not a scratch. No. Okay. And alright, just a wet rag and a pinch will also work. And very carefully around this part. So, I don't know if you can see all that, but yeah, a whole lot of dust that I don't want getting in it. Okay, so I'm just going to pull these off too. Let's set these here. Okay, now I start taking screws out. It's kind of a big TV to do with one person, but I gotta do it. Okay, so another yogurt cup. No screws. Okay, so maybe that was the only 3 screws in that. Get the bezel off. So now this is where it's really tricky on the floor because the bezel is not the easiest thing to get off. So I'm about to just lift it for a second. See what I'm working with. I get it. Okay, I see it. It's got little clips. And I have something for that somewhere. Okay, so old plastic card. This one was from Spectrum, and what I do is I just get that in between the bezel and the inner layer of plastic, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This one. Okay. There we go. Sometimes one of these little hook things works too. I know you probably couldn't see that good enough to tell what it was, but Okay, so I don't know what happened, but the camera just stopped recording for no reason and missed a couple minutes. You didn't miss a lot. I got the bezel off, and what I did is I very carefully took these driver boards loose. And this. So I very carefully took these driver boards loose from where they're attached in here. And you just carefully fold them up. Don't force them, let them go how they want to go. They don't got to be flat, you definitely don't want them flat, just let them be. So flip them over, and they're just going to kind of be there loosely, and you stick them down with some Kapton tape. And that part's that. So the next thing we do is we pull the screen out. So I have my double suction cups here, and I'm going to adjust them how I want them. Basically, I want to be like a few, maybe 5-6 inches in from the top and bottom. And I got both my handles in just because it makes it easier. And I stick them, make sure they're stuck. Okay, we're about to lift this thing out of here. Make sure I get it all the way back here. Okay, wish me luck. Oh yeah, it works. Oh boy, that was not good. Well, I know you couldn't see that part, but I got that screen right about where I wanted it, and one of the suction cups came loose, so that was really, really close. Luckily, my foot was on good, so that could have been bad. So now we figure out how to get the rest of this stuff off. And this looks like it's going to be a little easier. I'll go right back to using the little hook thing. I got a flat one that'll work better. Okay. So I've given up the hook thing and I got a straight one. And that seems to work a little better. Pieces. And you probably notice I'm not wearing shoes. That's just because I don't want to track dirt onto the canvas here. Yeah, there's already some dust in here, so we're just gonna wipe that out. It's not my dust. Now, what I like to do is take a little bit of this Kapton tape and stick these layers together. And I'll tell you what, if I had a workbench big enough for this TV, it would be a hell of a lot easier. So, this is not the most ideal work situation. But, you're going to do what you got to do to get it done. So, just going to do a couple pieces on the front here. The reason you do this is because this stuff's really slippery, and it's just easier if it doesn't all try to slide apart on you. Okay, so I'm going to lift that and I'm going to set it right on top of those cups, because we don't need this for a minute. Right, very gentle. So now, the next thing that we got to do is pull this stuff out, and that shouldn't be too hard. Okay. Let me adjust this so you can see what I'm doing. So, yeah, there's a dead fly in it. Okay, so you can't hardly see these, but they're like little plastic things, and they just hold the screen, the plastic things away so they don't sag. And you just pinch them on the back with a pair of pliers, and they come right out. You just pinch that part together. So you gotta try not to break them. I'm using a pair of needle nose. It's probably easier with a regular pair of pliers, but I don't feel like digging for them. Okay. Alright, so now we're down to the part where we gotta fix. Okay, so I'm just setting up to test, and I just happen to have these exact plugs from a different TV, so what I can do is just plug right in. Now, I don't have an LED tester. It would be a heck of a lot easier if I had one, because I would already know what strips were bad right now, just that fast. But I do have something that will work. So what I have is, you know what, I'm going to move the camera over here. Yes, we're to this point now where you might as well be able to see what I'm doing. Okay. And let's see if I can actually zoom on that. Hold that thought. Okay, hold that thought. I guess that's actually zoomed more. Let's just duplicate that. And yeah, I guess that's a little better. Not the easiest thing to zoom with this. So anyway though, so this is my little test board, and I have a Variac, which is a variable AC transformer, and all this is just a bridge rectifier, a couple filter caps, an inductor, and this right here, I don't know if you can see that, that is just a 10K resistor, and when I click the switch, it's just to discharge the capacitors, so I don't get a shock. So it works. It would be a heck of a lot easier though with a regular LED tester, and I do plan on getting one probably next month. Okay, so then I just power it on. I saw a couple little flickers there, but I'm going to say this strip is bad. Let's see. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. It's 27. 10. 30, so about 57 volts maybe. Okay, so that wasn't good. I forgot to actually discharge it. Yeah. Okay, I hope I didn't fry anything. Some of those are dead. Okay, so we're going to go real slow this time. There's some dead on like every one of these. Yeah, I don't like this. So, what I'm going to do is just pop a lens off. Oh, I have these too. I have these LEDs. This is good. Okay, so I popped the lens off, and we're going to find out short. Okay, so this strip definitely has bad ones. So I'm going to test them out of the TV. It's not really working so good like this. A lot of times you find that there's bad LEDs on every strip. So sometimes you have to take them apart. Okay. So to get the LEDs out, I'm doing a lot of editing. Okay, to get the LEDs out, there's, where are you pointing at? There we go. These are the tabs. You just gotta pull all of those out. So that's what I'm gonna do, and then I'll be back. And okay, we've got two dead ones on this strip. Sometimes it depends on where the dead one is. I'm looking for a marker now so I can actually mark them. Here we go. Okay, this should move along fast now. So we've got two dead ones on there. We've got nothing here, which means we probably have one with a open circuit. They'll still usually light if they're short, but if they're open, then you get nothing. Okay, three dead ones. Okay. Alright, we're not going to be able to tell here. Make sure I still got juice. Yeah. Okay, so those four, what we're going to have to do is test each individual LED. So, we're going to move on. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. So for this, we want, it'll probably work. Now these ones, we don't need a jumper. Okay, we got one bad one. Hope you're able to see this good. I mean, you can see it's never just one LED. Okay, this one, we're not going to be able to tell. I can see I got a couple lenses fell off somewhere, but they had to come off anyways. Doesn't matter. Let me go back to this. Did I have that backwards? Oops. Nope. Okay. That one figured out. We got one bad one on there. Hope I have enough LEDs. I think I have about 70, so I definitely can see that one's bad. 3. I think everyone on this strip is bad. I think I might have fried the one strip though. Yeah, it happens. So yeah, I can see they're charred. Maybe not though. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Yeah, so what we're going to do is, I think we're going to, maybe they just look like that. Actually, you know what, I think they do. Yeah. They just kind of look black through the lens. So, I might just have to pop all the lenses off. I hate to have to do that, but okay, this one should light. Yep, that one lights. So, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'm not used to doing this stuff on camera. Shorted. started. Okay, so I don't know if you can, you probably can't see that, but there's too much light in here, but I guess maybe you can see that. Yeah. So that's what I got to do. So I'm going to turn the camera off, and I'm going to go through all these strips like that, and then when I'm ready to actually start repairing them, I will be back. Okay, so I'm back, and it turns out there are 37 bad LEDs. So that's a lot. This is going to take some time. Well, this is how many I have. I don't know if I have 37 or not. I hope I do. I bought 100, but I used 40, I believe, so I should actually have some. I should actually have enough. I mean, unless I used them for something else. I could have, but let's see. 10, 20, 30. Yeah, we got enough. Okay, good. Now we had a couple already loose, so we used them first. Well, that's a good thing, we got enough. So, now, it's where it gets fun, briefly. So the way I do this, and you might have been wondering, I don't know if you could have seen that, but why I have a jack stand sitting on my workbench. Well, I will show you why. Let's see. Everything's backwards on the camera, so it's a little hard moving things around. So what I do is I take my hot air and I put it on my jack stand and I tighten my cable tie just a little. Gotta get it just right. And I get it to where try to get it to where my tip is just, if you can see, it's just maybe ½ inch below the point where the strip is going to be. You can kind of see, it's kind of hard to tell the distance there, but yeah. So that's what I do. And I just go like this. So I'm going to turn it on, and I'm setting my heat right now to 240 Celsius, and that is about the temp, the melting point of lead-free solder. So that's what I'm going to use to take all the old ones off. And if you notice, I also heat the lenses. That way the little, you see there's like little tabs down there, and they will break off. Where those little white things, that's actually the glue, but the tab part on there will break if you don't heat them first. So just a little bit of heat is all it takes. And actually drop down a little. So, there we go. So what I'm going to do Just getting over the flu too, by the way. Sucks. So what I'm going to do is just pull all of these off. Well, actually, I'm just going to do this one strip. So, yeah. So now the way I like to do the LEDs, now I have an older video that I did about 3 years ago, maybe 2, I don't know. And LED TVs were really just starting to come into the shop, so at that point I made a video just playing around trying to figure out how to get the LEDs off the easiest way, and try to get this in the camera. The easiest way to do this, and it's really hard to see with this piece of crap camera, but the easiest way is just to crush the top. And it probably would have been nice if I turned my soldering iron on ahead of time. That probably would have been nice. So, it's a hack out. It'll heat up fast. So then, just want to put this over. Now these have the aluminum back, which makes it just a little harder, but usually a little bit of fresh solder on top of that die . And that's it. It came right off. So that is the slow way. Now the faster way that I'm going to do with these. Now if this didn't, this is the difference, okay? I've got an aluminum back on here. It's actually the whole thing's aluminum, so it's sucking my heat away. If it was a copper back one, it probably would have been easier because they're actually fiberglass board with copper on both sides. Or if it was the kind that doesn't have copper on the back at all, then I would do it that way. And I would particularly do it that way because then it's less likely to damage the board or the strip, but it really is a board. Well, the fiberglass ones anyways, I would consider it to be like a board. I guess it's a strip. Okay, it's a strip. So I'm gonna find my tweezers somewhere. For this I like to have the angled ones. So this is the faster way of doing it. The much faster way. And you know, sometimes too, you think you have a bad LED and it was because you had one like next to it that was bad. So it's not a bad idea to check again after you remove one. But that's still shorted. So I'm just going to go ahead and do all the ones that were suspicious, because I got to get this done and I got 2 hours and I got to be somewhere. So this way we just wait until it comes loose. The only thing this way is it discolors the board or the strip a little. So there, and it comes right off though. But like I said, discolors the strip a little. So I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and clean those two up, show you how I put them back on, and then so we're going to move this. So I take some desoldering braid and a soldering iron, and I clean them up a little. Yeah, this is definitely harder to do on aluminum because my iron's not really even hot enough to touch this. The flux. Yeah, my iron's not even 750 degrees and it's not hot enough. So what we're going to do is this, and that one's good. Okay, so at this point we take the fresh solder and I like to clean it a little. Toothbrush, clean that up. And I'm going to turn my heat down to 183 Celsius, which is the melting point of the new solder that's going on. Okay, so I don't know how good you can see that, but it's blurry. So there's some fresh solder on there, and my heat is at 183, and I'm going to take a new So I'm going to take a little bit of this Amtech flux, put it on each one, and that's just going to help the reflow. Okay, so now they're not on there all straight. They don't need to be. As soon as the solder melts, they're going to just get pulled right into place. And you'll know when it does because it'll literally pull right down. heat is too far away. I'm only having trouble with this one because I'm on camera. Usually they just suck right into place. Sorry. Oh, I see. Yeah, you probably can't see that, but I didn't get the other half off. I knew something wasn't right there. Okay. Alright, let's try that again. Okay, so that's what nice clean pads look like. So, I don't know, I'm not even going to try to reuse that LED again because it seemed like I had the heat on it too long and I don't like it. So, okay, so again, a little bit of fresh solder. Flux. And it's just stuck to my tweezers momentarily. And there it goes. Okay, so this time, I wish I could get this to zoom in so you could see it. I just don't have that capability. I forgot the flux. Okay. Now we just wait for that to melt. And if you could if you could see that, you would have saw that when it when it melted, it sucked it right down. So that's that. So I'm going to clean they look good. And I'm going to cut that off. And we're going to test. The reason these ones beep in one direction is because they have a protection diode. Yeah, I think you could probably see that. Yeah. So those are done. Now there's others on the strip, but I want to show you how you put the lenses back on. And it's important that you don't have anything sticking up where the old ones were. So I like to take the just the sides of the blade and just clean that old glue without, don't cut anything, just you're just kind of scraping. And then what I have is this stuff. It's called, this camera is backwards. That's probably better. Guess you can see that. It's called 5-second fix. It's a UV adhesive and it's pretty neat. It works really good. It's got this little LED light thing with it, but I like to use my own, and I can actually do all 3 glue drops at the same time. So the way this works, and I have another one around here somewhere. I think my cat stole it because he does that. He steals everything from me. But what I do is I put a dot where each one of these old dots was. This might be empty. Yeah, you know what? I gotta get a new one out. I had another open one, but yeah, I don't know where it went. Where is it? So these came from eBay. Some Walmarts carry them. What you gotta be careful about is sometimes you get them like this one, and you can see it's leaked. It'll still be okay, but it's like, that's some of your money just gone. So I really should have sent it back, but I needed it, so. What I do is I just clean it up a little, pull the little thing off the end, and there we go, we're ready to go. So let's see if you can actually see this. You can probably, it's blurry, I know, but 3 little dots of glue. And then you take the lens and you can actually see where the little pads are. And you put that on. And I need 2 of them here. And did you see? Yeah, you can see that. Okay. So then, just take the light, just like it says, 5 seconds. And do the next one. And that's it. That glue is cured and they look good. So I'm going to do the rest of these and then I'll be back when it's time to put this thing back together, because I only have a couple hours left and I got to be done with this. Okay, so it's several hours later and I've finished all of the LEDs. It was 39 total that were bad. And as you can see, I put them all back in the assembly already. And I've had it going for maybe a half hour now. So just to make sure that they're good and that another one's not going to fail right away, because that can happen. So now we're about to finish the repair. Just put it all back together and we'll finally be able to watch this thing. Okay. So start by unplugging this, and I'm pretty much blind right now. So adjust our camera. Yeah. Okay, yeah, you can see how I have the screen laying back there, and I just put the plastic sheets on top of the suction cup bars. So you'll also notice one thing I forgot to mention is when you do this, release the suction right after you put the screen down, because you just don't want you don't want to damage the screen, and it minimizes the risk. So I guess I'm gonna point the camera here and we'll just start putting pieces back in. Good idea to have clean microfiber cloth, and what that's going to be used for is we're just going to you can't see what I'm doing, but this is the plastic sheets, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe it all down with a rag. Oh. Okay, one more very important step that I left out is, and this is really important, and it's more so on the LG TVs than Samsung, but it's really a good idea to wipe your fingerprints off these lenses, because you will definitely see it when it's done. And I say it's worse on the LGs because the ones that have those big lenses, I think I got one somewhere too to show you. Yeah. The ones the LG TVs that use these big lenses like this, and they're kind of like concave on the top. The fingerprints will really show on the image. Like, you won't see the actual fingerprint. It'll just be, you'll see like spots, like dark and light spots. So really important to wipe them down. So what I do is I just squirt a little bit of Windex on a microfiber cleaning rag cloth. And make sure there's no dust on the side here. So what I do is just a little bit of Windex and just go over all the lenses like that. So it doesn't have to take a long time, just, you know, kind of go like this. I can't get that last one. Alright, that's good. So now, back to this part. I've already wiped down the back of it. Okay. So we just want to get these little tabs lined up. Once we get everything lined up, we'll pull out our tape. I would say we're good, but first, we're going to wipe it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to power the LEDs on again. We're just going to look and see if we see any dust or cat hairs or anything like that got underneath these layers. So, it looks like I got one right there. Okay. Looks good to me. Blind, but okay, so now we're going to go back over here to our, well, you can see how I got the plastic pieces laid out, so that they're laid out in the order of how they go here. So what I'm going to do is grab them and put them in place. So I'm going to unplug this again. off all my pieces of tape. Because if you don't do it now, you're not gonna. I'm kind of trying to do this without lifting it much because when you lift it, it has like a vacuum effect and it will suck dust in. Okay, so that's together. Now, I'm going to move it this way a bit. And we're going to get our suction cups back on here. So we just lightly press and squeeze. Best to do them one at a time. Now I like to wait a minute so that if one of them's gonna come loose, it'll do it before I lift the panel. But I think we're going to be okay. So, I don't have any choice but to block your view while I do this. So, okay. Alright, so now I can get to this side of it. And same thing with the microfiber cloth. And hopefully I don't damage this while doing this. If this drops, I'm in trouble. I'm just very gently . Okay. got to be real careful of the corners when you do this. There's like a little inset where they go, and I broke a screen one time because it wasn't totally seated in there, and when I was screwing the metal pieces on that particular one that hold that in place, it cracked the screen. So you have to be very careful doing that. So okay, that's all there. So now we're going to release our cups. Just realized you really can't see much of what I'm doing, but okay. So like I said, we're releasing the cups one at a time, carefully. Okay. All right. And then we very carefully peel our capped on tape away. And I'm holding the boards so they don't move while I'm doing this. I'm going to just do the reverse of how we go. It's like little slots where they fit down in. Okay. Now, it's really a good idea at this point to put your ribbon cables back in. It's a heck of a lot harder once the bezel is on. And just get a good look. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. And the bezel, we're just gonna hook a corner. Not the easiest thing to do, but Okay. That's and we had 3 screws that we took out. And just had the screwdriver. Okay. Then now at this point I'm just gonna clean it up before I flip it over. I'm being careful not to get the Windex around the edges. So we don't want it running in and corroding anything. That can't happen. really clean. It looks perfect. There's no scratches or anything like that on it. It's really good. Okay. Now, a couple spots on this. It's just a lot easier to do this now than to do it when it's standing up, because this way I don't have to worry about the Windex running. And I may still have a little catch up to do here and there, but this will get most of it. Okay. So I guess I'm going to flip it over. It's really important, if you're going to flip it over on its face, to make sure that there's nothing going to be under it that can damage it. So that's what we're going to do. And looks good. Okay. So now we're going to start putting stuff back in place. And you can see, okay. Now it's really important that you never mess with a T-con while the power is on. As far as disconnecting these cables, it's really a bad idea. I fried a panel one time doing that. So I don't recommend it. Sometimes maybe I'll take the LVDS cable loose very carefully, but not the ribbon cables. And the reason I might do that is to see if anything changes on the screen, like trying to diagnose a bad panel. But it's strongly recommended that you don't do these while the power is on. Do the screws once I get everything in place. It's just easier to figure out where everything went if you have your wires hooked up, because then there's only so many places the stuff can go. I think I put more screws in the T-con than what originally came with it, so I'm 2 screws short here, but I got a bucket of screws. Okay, easy enough. That's definitely easier with two people. Okay, so we got two different types of screws. Now, the ones that have the fine thread go into metal. So the ones that have the coarse thread go into plastic. So that's how we tell where the different ones go. So all the fine thread ones are on the front, or the bottom, I mean. And if any of you are watching, you'll notice that I forgot something. It's a really good idea to put the speakers in before you reassemble the unit. trying to cheat. So, I'm just going to see if I can do this. It's worth a try, right? Yellow. That's right. And I'll be able to do this. So far, so good. Okay, sometimes you get lucky. Alright, so for right now, I'm just putting a couple screws in here. I gotta locate the rest of them, and I really don't know what I did with them. But I'll find them. I know I got them in a bag somewhere. And I gotta locate the stand real quick. Oh, here we go. Okay. Oh, is that the screws now? Okay, well, I found the ones that go to the stand. So, we're just going to go ahead and put the stand on here so I can get this tarp out of here before my cat starts trying to walk across it, because I finally let him out of his room. Probably can't tell, but I'm actually not letting this weight rest on the stand. I'm actually supporting it. My knee and 2 fingers. Okay. All right. Okay. So now I'm going to find the remote, and obviously it's like set to zoom or something. Yeah, there we go. So we got a TV. I don't know what happened. The camera just stopped recording for some reason. But the repair was a success. And I got another video coming up where I'm going to turn this exact same TV into a smart TV, and it's going to cost about $100 to do it. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and don't forget to click the little bell so you'll get notifications. Alright, see you next time.